Alright, welcome to the J-Flight Swift 165 RB. I'm going to do a walk around real quick and show you guys how to set the trailer up and kind of familiarize you with everything that you're going to need to know once you get on campsite. You can reference this video as well as look at it before you go, help you prep for it, and here we go. One of the first things you're going to want to do whenever you're pulling the trailer, you're going to want to make sure that these vents are completely open. And whenever you get to the campsite, you can close them down. This will make sure that your air conditioning or your heating doesn't go out. And whenever you pull it to and from wherever you're going, be sure and have these open so it helps push some ventilation through the travel trailer. Don't worry about it raining. If you look outside here, you'll see that there's a cover, so it's fully enclosed and the rain won't get inside the trailer. Now, one of the first things you're going to need when you get on site is you're going to need this little orange bag. You'll find this orange bag just inside of the bottom stowage over here on the front left-hand side of the travel trailer. So this little bag will be in there, and it's going to have a bunch of stuff that you're going to need whenever you get on site. Inside there, you're going to find yourself a small yellow torpedo level. Now, these things a lot of times have levels that are on side of the travel trailer, but I found that this little guy will get the job done. To set the level front to back, just set it on the A-frame up here. And to set the level side to side, you'll set the level somewhere on the back bumper. The bumper and everything stays aligned with the frame, so this should get you where you need to be. One of the things that you'll find whenever you get on site to a campsite is that when you need to get the back bumper level from side to side, you'll have to raise one side of the travel trailer. You'll find these set of blocks. There's 6 of these yellow ones as well as 6 more orange ones. You'll take these and you'll just stack them up like Legos, pull it underneath the tire, and they'll pull the trailer forward onto the blocks, and this should get you level from side to side. Once you've got the level set from side to side on the travel trailer, you're going to want to take these wheel blocks and you're going to want to put one on both sides of the tire to keep it from rolling forwards or backwards. There's 4 of these in the travel trailer, so you can put them on either side, both sides either, or just the one. When you do add the blocks and you have the trailer up on the blocks, it does make it slightly more difficult, but you can find that you can get them in there. Now, to set the level from front to back on the travel trailer, be sure and use your torpedo level on the A-frame. You can take these jacks, you'll find 4 of them. They come apart, and this is where you can make your rough adjustments and your fine adjustments. You can also use these pads in case you need to raise one up a little bit. Take this, get it as close as you can to where you think it's going to be. Slide it underneath the frame, and you can feel underneath the bottom. Make sure you get underneath the part that has a piece of frame. If you set this on the floor, it will go through the floor. Once you've got it adjusted, you can take it and turn it until it hits the bottom of the travel trailer. And now it should be seated and not rock back and forth and be nice and stable for your camping. To stabilize the rear of the travel trailer, it's slightly different. You'll see there are 2 extension stabilizers that come down on the bottom of the travel trailer, and these can be put down in order to have the back of the trailer nice and stable while you're camping. To get the stabilizer arms to come down on the rear of the travel trailer, you have 2 accessories that can assist in this. First is this adapter. If you've brought a cordless drill, you can bring this adapter with you, and you can use it in the end of the drill to make things nice and easy. Otherwise, there's this crank handle, and it's just what it sounds like. If you put your drill in reverse, this will make it to where it comes down. Now, one of the things you can do is you can add blocks underneath the stabilizer if the ground isn't quite level, or if you find that these are standing straight up and down. Just connect this to the bottom of the stabilizer, and down she comes. Do this on both sides, and this should make the trailer nice and steady and shouldn't rock. Now, you will notice that even after you've got everything set, that you may have some experience of rocking in the trailer, but that's just natural for the trailer itself. Now, once you've got the travel trailer set nice and level like you want it, next thing you're going to want to do is connect the power. Look on the front corner of the travel trailer by the water heater and the water connections, and you'll find 25-foot 30-amp connector for your shore power. If you're going to have the trailer connected at your house overnight to get the air conditioner running or to get the refrigerator nice and cold, you can use this adapter and you plug it into the end of the shore power cable, and this will allow you to have some power into the travel trailer. But mind you, everything may not work as well as it should, because if it overloads your power circuit, it will trip the breakers inside of the travel trailer. Additionally, if you connect to a generator while dry camping, you can find additional adapters inside of the orange bag. Before you go, if you are going to use a generator, please check and make sure that we have the right adapter for your generator. If not, you'll have to supply your own. One more thing to note about the power cable is when you do go to put it back, be sure and just push the cable back inside, but also don't push the plug all the way back through the hole. Otherwise, we have to take the inside apart to fish it back out, and there will be an additional charge for that. Once you have your power cable out and plugged into your supply, be sure and close this little door down and make sure that it aligns here so that water doesn't go into the travel trailer if it starts to rain while you're camping. Also, it keeps the critters out. Alright, now if you have to go into the travel trailer for anything, to get the stairs down, just grab the bottom of the stairs, pull them up, and they come out. And that's how you get the stairs down on the trailer. While you're hooking the power up, sometimes you'll find that you need an extension for the shore power cable. If you move the cushions off of this section of seating and you use the hole to pull up the seat bottom, you'll find a 25-foot extension for the shore power. Also, there's some chairs and some other miscellaneous items. They may or may not be in here when you rent it, but if there's something there, you can use them. Just be kind and put them back nice and clean. One of the next things that you're going to hook up outside is you're going to hook up your fresh water line. Fresh water line should be in the bathtub inside of the bathroom, and it also has a blue water filter attached to it, and I'll show you how these get hooked up. To hook the fresh water line up, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come to the bottom here, pull this cap out, and you can see that it has a normal thread for a water hose. To connect the water line, place the 90-degree elbow right here in this joint and screw it down. Once you have the water filter and the 90-degree elbow connected to the travel trailer, you're going to want to hook up the other end of the water hose to your water supply at your campsite. On the supply connection side, you'll find attached to the end of the hose this pressure reducer, which ensures that if the travel site that you're at has greater than 30 psi, it won't mess up the piping inside of the travel trailer. Once you have the pressure reducer connect to the supply side for the campsite water, you can go ahead and turn the water on. While at the campsite, you might find that you want to use outside water. If that's the case, you can use this splitter on the single supply source that you have at the campsite, and you can connect this green hose. The green hose should never be used for your fresh water. Also, this is in the orange bag. This will be in the orange bag as well, and you could use it to give water to your dogs, wash off your feet, or wash off your equipment after you've been playing outside all day. Alright, so I missed this earlier whenever I was connecting the power. If you do connect to your campsite, there's a surge protector that's inside of the travel trailer. And this surge protector hooks up to the 30 amp source that you're going to connect your travel trailer into. And this will give you some warnings and let you know if your power is connected correctly or if there's trouble with the wiring at the site. You'll find this stored inside of the stowage cubby out on the front left of the travel trailer. So the last thing you're going to want to connect once you get on site is the septic system. And this is your septic connection, which is on the rear section of the travel trailer. And here's your black water holding tank, as well as your gray water holding tank. You should never open both of these valves at the same time and mix the tanks. Black is for your sewer, and gray is for your bath water as well as your sink water. Before you start handling the septic system, be sure and get yourselves a pair of nitrile gloves out of the cubby up in the front part of the travel trailer. Always use these when handling your black water and gray water hoses. To retrieve the septic hose for the travel trailer, pull the cover off of the bumper and place it up on top of the bumper. And that's where you'll find the hose is actually stored inside of the travel trailer. There's a cap on both ends, and I'll go through those in just a second. One of the accessories that you find that you may need once you get on site is this Accordion Leveler for the septic system. It's stored in the front cubby. I find for most sites that this is unnecessary, but if you feel like you need it or you have an extended route that you have to run the septic hose, feel free to use it. To use the accordion hose holder, just take the handle off the top of it and grab the bottom and pull it out. And you can move this in whatever shape that you need to in order to have it follow your supply line back to your travel trailer from the septic site. Once you've retrieved the septic hose, from the back bumper of the travel trailer, you'll see that you have two different types of connections. This connection goes to the site where it actually dumps into the tank, and this connection is going to connect to the back of the travel trailer. In order to make the connection between the travel trailer and your black water hose, you need to connect this section here, this clear piece, and it just connects to the bottom, and you can see it just twists onto the connector here. This is similar as well. So remove the cap, and be careful when you're doing this because there could be a small amount of fluid that's inside of this black water line. To make the connection, just place this up on here and turn the connector until it snaps into place. One of the things to note is there's a clean out on this clear piece. This could be used to assist in flushing anything down the hose that may be in it whenever you're flushing the tanks. This has a small valve on it. You'll notice there's an arrow pointing left to right. This denotes that it's closed, and this is where you would hook up your green water line. Never the fresh water line, only the green water line. Whenever you want to flush it, you turn your water on, and then you take this and you turn it counterclockwise, quarter turn, and you'll see that the arrow now aligns straight in and out, and your water will flush back into here, and that can aid in cleaning out this tank. Remember, never have both of your handles open at the same time. The last connection for your black water is going to be to hook this up to the site, septic system, or the dump facility. You'll notice these tiny grooves cut into the top of this particular connector is actually for this piece here. You can see the notches on the top side that will slide down into there, and it's just a simple twist lock. Something similar to what you had on this particular connection, just it's internal as opposed to external. Once you've got the site dump connector onto the back of the black water hose, you'll see that it makes one continuous joint there. It has a stepped threads on the outside of the connector, and you'll just take this and you'll thread it down into the site dump tank or the site septic system. And it doesn't need to be seated and flushed all the way down. You just make sure that it sits into it. To actually dump the tanks, what you'll do is you'll just grab whichever tank handle that you're wanting to flush. Remember, this is your black tank, and this is your gray tank. And you'll want to pull this out, and it'll stop to about, I don't know, right here. It should come out about 3 or 4 inches. And whenever you're done flushing the tank, you do want to push this back in and don't leave it open. I find that you only need to dump the black water tank about every couple of days depending on use, but even with 4 travelers, it's not as often as you think it would. The black water tank holds about 9 gallons. Now when you're prepping the trailer and getting the septic correct, down in this bottom stowage you'll find the toilet drop-in. Whenever you're preparing to put this digesting pack inside the toilet, what you'll want to do is you'll want to put some water into the toilet and put this in there and then flush it down. Now this is a chemical toilet and it requires water in order for it to work correctly. If you're dry camping and it's just urine and feces inside of there, it will not keep the smell down, and you will spend a lot more extra time trying to get this tank flushed out whenever you do get to a dump station. So bring plenty of water and make sure that you're adding water with this. One last thing on these digester tablets is you only need to add one to the system whenever you're adding waste to the tank, and after you've flushed, you'll add another one. To flush the toilet, you'll see on the left hand side it has directions where it starts here. To add water for this particular one, you pull the handle back, and the handle is in the back left hand corner. You'll just pull it forward, and then in order to flush the tank, you'll just pull it all the way forward and then drop it back. And these directions are found on the inside lid of the toilet. These are a few of the chemicals that you'll find in this bottom storage cabinet just outside of the restroom, and feel free to use any one of these whenever you're tidying up the travel trailer and you're bringing it home or just want to clean the campsite up. Alright, so back to the black water system. Whenever you're done flushing the hose, and be sure and get everything out of this hose as best you can before you seal it up. We don't want to put anything in there, no surprises for the next guy. Just slide it back into the bumper. You'll find it'll hang up a little bit, but it fits quite nicely inside of there. And then place the cap back onto the back of the bumper. Once you have the outside of the travel trailer hooked up, you'll want to go ahead and turn on your propane bottle. Whenever you're transporting the propane bottle, please be sure and use both of these straps right here so the bottle doesn't come off while you're going down the road. I suspect that would be pretty bad for everybody involved. While you're on site, you may find that you want to use this propane bottle level. It'll let you know how much is inside of it and if it's getting low on gas. I find that whenever it is hooked up, it does leak a small amount of propane, so I just hook it up occasionally to see what the level of the tank is if I'm curious, and then keep it back in the orange bag whenever you're not using it. After you have the gas propane turned back on, you can come, and one of the first things you're going to want to do is turn your water heater on. And what you'll do is you'll turn this over to pilot, and once you've got it on pilot, you'll hold the button down, and inside here you'll find that the pilot is just underneath this thermocouple, and you'll hold this button down until you get a nice continuous small blue flame at the bottom of that pilot light. If it's windy, this does get challenging. Just give it some time. Now, inside of the travel trailer, you'll find a couple of these matchsticks. I would bring one just in case. The last guy used all the fluid out of it, but that's what you'll use whenever you're getting your flame lit inside here, and you get it all nice and going. Now, once you do have an established flame inside there, what you'll do is you'll turn this all the way over on to on. We have the water on the water heater set. Right here is optimum. You can see the notch right here. You don't want to get it too hot, otherwise it starts scalding people whenever they get inside of there. But feel free to adjust it for your own personal liking. Whenever you're done camping and you cut the gas off, be sure and turn the gas completely off on the inside of this, and you'll notice the pilot light will go out at that time. And after you've got the pilot light lit, in order to keep the wind from blowing it out, just be sure and close this back up. Something to note on this is whenever this is running, you want a nice good blue flame. If you see red flames or you see soot, which is what's caused these black marks on the side of the trailer here, if you see that coming through, then your flame is not adjusted correctly. And you can loosen this and you can adjust this back and forth until that's blue. If you're having trouble with it, give me a call and I'll help you walk through this, and we'll see if we can figure it out together. But don't let a big red flame come through this vent, or you could set the travel trailer on fire, and that would be kind of bad, especially if y'all are in it, or we don't want to hurt anybody. So here's just a quick snapshot of some of the things you'll find in the orange tool bag that you may find useful while you're out camping, or if you need to get something done at the campsite. And here's a couple of other things that you'll have inside of the cubby. This is your Campfire Friend. You can use this to split any firewood that you brought with you. Also, you can use it to drive the tent stakes. This is your expandable garbage can. You just unlatch this on the side of it. Just don't put raw trash inside of here. Be sure and use a bag. And you can use on the bottom of this, there is this. You can put a stake down in the ground. It keeps this from blowing off whenever you don't have a lot of trash in there. And there is also an extension cord inside the travel trailer for you to use while you're on site. One of the things I wanted to show you on the travel trailer door is whenever you want to pin it open, there's a connector that you can put into the back right here, and this allows the door to stay open, and you can disconnect the screen door from that door, and you can close it all the way up whenever you're camping. Now, on the back of the travel trailer is the hybrid bunk. It's very similar to a pop-out camper, and I'll show you how to take this down. Now, this stays locked for all the obvious reasons, and what you'll do is you'll use the black camper key, which also works on the door. And something to note is this silver key works on the front stowage cubby, and you'll just unlock this, and you can push this button right here to drop this handle down, and that's how you open up each side. You've got one latch there and one latch there. Now, once you've got both sides unlatched, this will be able to move free. So you can just grab it and pull down, and down it comes. There's a couple of cables that are inside of here that keep it from going anywhere. One of the first things you're going to want to do is pull this down the cover down on either side. If you don't, you'll notice that it can allow water back up inside of here when you're done, and it can leak back in onto your sleeping mat. So with the platform down for the bed and both the edges covered back up, you'll look just like this. So then you move into the inside of the travel trailer. There's a couple of things that are going to be in your way. You have your mattress, which you're going to be sleeping on, and inside of the mattress we should have stored the top hole for the hybrid side of the travel trailer, and I'll show you how to put those in, but for now you just need to remove them from the space so we can finish setting up the hybrid into the trailer. So just move the centerpiece and move the cushion out of the way so that you can continue doing what you need to for the setup. Now if you find it's dark on the inside of this, if it's getting later in the evening, there is a light here in the bunk, and you can just turn this light on and that will give you some extra lighting while you're in here. So to finish setting up the hybrid side of the travel trailer, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to move this bar fully back into the back position on the hybrid side to make sure and hold the pop out completely out while you're wanting to sleep. In order to do that, you'll need this center bar that you took out whenever you were removing the mattress. You'll notice there's two ends. There's this end, which connects to that center member, and there's this end, which actually has these two silver tabs on there. And once we get this pushed completely out, you'll notice that this is going to slide up into this socketed hole, and never slide it past this second tab. You'll slide it past this first tab, not past this one, because it makes it really difficult to get this back out of that hole if you pushed it in too far. Whenever you go to connect this in, you'll see that there's a couple of screws right on the inside middle here. I take this piece and I push it, until it gets all the way to the back. And be careful whenever you're doing this. You don't want to push the pole through the back of the tent. The next thing you'll do is you'll line this piece up with that hole, and you'll insert the pole into it. Once you have the pole aligned with the hole on the inside of the bunk, you just take this and you'll push it up to the second tab. And again, don't push this second tab through that hole because it's really kind of painful to get it out of there. And you'll see that you have the hybrid end fully extended, and you're ready to put your mattress in here. And also, while you're in here, there's several zippers that you can use to open this up, get a lot of breeze through here, and you're ready to go camping. One of the things that I get asked is you're going to find that there's some dryer sheets that are throughout the travel trailer. We put these dryer sheets in here, and you'll just see that they're kind of randomly in here. Don't take them out and throw them away. We use those to help keep the pests and the insects down. For whatever reason, I guess they don't like these guys. They make the travel trailer smell slightly fresher and bug-free. And now to put the mattress in, you just slide the mattress up inside and pull it around to the edge, flip it open, and down she goes. And there you go. It is ready to sleep on. So this is what the bunk looks like whenever it's fully set up correctly. And one of the things I like to do is check my corners and make sure that they're pulled down. You don't have to pull too hard. And then make sure on these front sides that if you do have a piece of this that's not covering the edge, you can pull that down as well. And just to make sure that it stays nice and watertight. And that's what the bunk looks like whenever it's fully extended. Now, one of the things you're going to want to do whenever you're taking this apart and you're getting ready to put your hybrid end of the travel trailer up is you're going to pull this bar all the way down and let it set on the surface. Make sure it comes completely out of the tent area, and you're going to want to put your mattress in next. Once you've got the mattress in, you can go ahead and place your bar down inside of this. Don't set it on the outside or on the other side of the mattress. Be sure and put it down on the inside so it doesn't sit there and rub on the wood and scratch that surface up. Be sure and put this mattress into this section before you close the back section up. Otherwise, when you try to put this in here, it's a struggle. So be sure and put this in before you actually close the outside up. Alright, and once you get that center member down nice and in between the mattress here, you're ready to go outside and finish putting the travel trailer section back up on the back. In order to push this back section up, you're going to want to make sure and pull these back up around the corners here and try to flip this, fold it back in, and there's no real wrong way to do this. You just want to make sure that no pieces of the tent are caught between the seal here and the seal on the outside. And to put it up, you just lift it and raise it into place. And you'll notice that you get pieces of the tent that are going to want to push out, and just push those in and make sure they're out of that seating surface before you actually finish pushing this up and close it up. Once you've made sure that you have nothing outside of the seating area on this the hybrid side, you'll just push this up and you'll grab this latch and slide it into place. This is nice and flat, and be sure and lock this up, especially if you have your valuables on the inside, and do it on this other side as well, because you don't want somebody being able to get into the back of the travel trailer to get your things. So we'll run through a few things you'll find inside the travel trailer. Now you've got plenty of storage inside of here. Obviously, here's your refrigerator. There is a thermometer on the inside to let you know when it is safe to store your food, and it's going to be whenever it's in a little pink section between 30 and 40 degrees. If it's over 40 degrees, then your food may not be safe to store inside of there, and there's a small freezer at the top as well. Just inside of the travel trailer, to the left of the door here, you'll find the storage cabinet. We typically keep food up here, but feel free to do this however you want to. To the left of that is the radio. You feel free to turn the radio on. The antenna stays up for the radio, so there's nothing to do there. Now, moving down below this section here is another storage area. There's a cubby, as well as a couple of doors. There's a portable fan for you to use inside the travel trailer. If you find any games or coloring books or anything like that, feel free to let the kids use those. Also, there's a first aid kit that's kept down here at the bottom for scrapes, cuts, and bruises. Now, just to the inside, at the top, right above the bed, you'll find the outdoor patio mat. It's a little difficult to squeeze back up into this area, but one of my previous renters put it up there. It fits quite nicely. You can take this, you can stake it down outside of the travel trailer. Once you've got it on site, keeps your feet clean, gives you something soft to walk on outside of the travel trailer. Just make sure it doesn't blow off, and rinse it before you put it back into the travel trailer. Now, down at the bottom, you'll find this door. This has several essentials in here. The first and foremost is Christmas lights. Feel free to decorate the travel trailer however you want to. I think there's a small white extension cord in here as well. You'll find all of the manuals for everything inside of the travel trailer that you can reference while you're on site. There's some toilet paper inside of here. Be sure and use this type of toilet paper whenever you're on site. There's an emergency horn in case something happens and you're out boating or you're just camping. Feel free to use that. Also, you can scare off bears. Don't think they're a big thing in Texas, but they were in Virginia and North Carolina where we were at before. And inside of this green bag, you'll find a couple of road flares that you can use if you're broke down on the side of the road. And this is how you can to warn people to stop if you have to change the tire or do something else for the trailer. If any of these things are missing when you get the trailer, just check it before you go, and make sure you've got everything you need before you do go on your camping trip. After you've come inside the door, this is your CO monitor and alarm for inside the travel trailer. If you're using the any of the propane, if something happens and you start getting CO inside of the travel trailer, this alarm starts going off. You need to open all the windows and make sure everybody gets out of the travel trailer and figure out what's going on. Now, this is a thermostat, and it runs the heater, which is right here. Currently, it's in the off position. You'll see it's seated all the way to the right. To turn it on, you just click it over to right there. You'll notice that the fan comes on, and you just set the temperature down here at the bottom. It does get very warm in colder climates. This hybrid bunk will not get as warm as this side will, so keep that in mind. So whenever you're ready to cut this off and you're done using it, just be sure and push that all the way back over to the right hand side, and that is the off position. So there's lots of lights throughout the travel trailer. Some of them don't turn on with the overhead light, so be sure and double check these whenever you come into the trailer, and you can turn them on for additional light whenever you're on your camp. While we're on the lighting in the travel trailer, if you have little ones and you use the restroom, this is the light for the inside of the restroom, and it does not turn on with a wall switch. It only turns on from up here, so you'll probably need to leave it on or work out some other arrangement with the small ones that may need to go to the restroom in the middle of the night. Now, on this back seat that's underneath the air conditioner, you'll have a panel down here. This panel is the circuit breakers. You have some circuit breakers on this side over here, as well as some fuses on this side over here. If something stops working or you're having some issues, you can just check these breakers and make sure that none of them have tripped. To the front of the travel trailer, there's a lot more storage up here. You'll find a couple of other things. If you are using the electric blanket, it's stored in here. The only thing we ask is if you have pets, you don't let the pets sleep directly on it. In case the next person that uses it, we do launder these, but we have to make sure that we don't get fur and whatever in there and mess with somebody's out. And here's more storage on the left-hand side. There are some tiki lamps in here. Feel free to use those. The boys usually string them up on the inside. They're kind of fun. You'll find these. You can put these in the windows of the travel trailer. It helps keep some of that heat down, especially in the summer in Texas. It gets very warm inside of this travel trailer if you don't have something in the windows, and the hybrid bunk gets really warm as well. So we suggest putting that up during the summer months during the day so that it's nice and cool when you go to bed at night. Now, in the top corner of the travel trailer, there is a smoke detector. So be sure and check this and make sure it's working whenever you come into the travel trailer, and make sure that if you have a fire, it will wake everybody up. Here is your air conditioning system. This is a lifesaver. Run through this however you want to, set it up however you need to. There is a filter inside here that you can access. If it's not running great, you can pull this filter out, and we try to keep it clean, but you can just rinse it off with a hose, and it makes it run a little bit better. Now, under this seat right here, we're going to go through a couple of goodies and things that you're going to need to know. So go ahead and remove the cushions, and again, use this hole to pull the wood up and out of the way. And we're going to look at a couple of things for the water system inside of here. This is your water heater. This is a freshwater tank. We didn't go over that just yet, but I'll go over it here in just a minute. And then there's a couple of valves that we're going to look at. There could be live electrical on the back of this, so be sure and be very careful if you do get into the back of this, and don't touch anything you shouldn't. Now, right here towards the middle, you'll see that there are two valves. They're right here. If I can, there you go. These two valves, this one here and this one here, they're little pin valves. You're going to need to pull those out whenever you are demobbing from your campsite, and you're going to need to push them in whenever you are ready to hook up your water on the site. If you cut your water on when you get on site, when you've got your fresh water hooked up and you cut it on and it starts pouring out of the bottom of the trailer, these are the pins that you need to push back in so that the water will stop going outside and it'll stay inside. So to work these valves right here, you'll see that you just push it down. There's nothing big that you need to do. It's not a lot of pressure. And to pull it open, you just lift it up. So they move quite freely, so don't pull on these too hard. And whenever you want to drain the water from your system, you'll pull these up. Whenever you want to keep the water in the system, you just take and you push both of them down. So we're going to pull them back up for now. So that brings me to the next thing. Whenever you're ready to leave the campsite, be sure and open both of those needle valves down at the bottom that we just talked about. And you're going to want to come to this, and you're going to want to open both sides of the sink and both sides of the shower to make sure that all the water can drain back out of all the pipes, and it'll go back out of the low point drain on the front of the trailer. So this brings us to the next part. This is your bed right here. If you're sleeping in the front, it's also your table. It's got a little scissor set of legs on the bottom. Works similar to like an old school ironing board. Just be really careful with this. You'll notice that it just sits on this ledge here as well as this ledge here, and if you're not careful when you're pulling that out, you could catch a toe, and that could be very painful. Now, to set the bed up, you just take a couple of the back cushions and you pull these off, and you get that one from that side and that one from this side, and you set these in the middle, and there you go. That is your front RV Queen bed. So next stop on our tour is this top cabinet. As you can see, there's just random pots and pans. There's some silverware in here. There's utensils, cutting board. There's bowls, colander. Just double check it before you go. If there's anything that you think you might want to bring, your favorite cooking tool, whatever, bring it with you just to make sure you've got it. These are pretty flimsy. They're nothing great. We typically, you know, have some other things that we bring with us, but we leave these in the trailer in case anybody needs something or forgot something. If you need to shave, guys, this is the only mirror that's close to a water source. So this is how you can shave right now. For the microwave, a lot of times when we're traveling, this thing will bounce around a little bit, and you'll see that this little section gets off at the bottom. Just go in and make sure that that lines up. And we'll usually keep bread or something inside of this to keep it from bouncing around, and plus it keeps your bread from bouncing around with canned goods or whatever else you may have brought with you. It keeps it nice and non-squished. So here is your sink and your stove. Obviously this is pretty easy to do. You just go through and turn these on to light, and the gas comes out. I usually try to light the stove before I light the water heater, just so it pushes that air out of the line. And once these are lit on the inside, it actually makes lighting the water heater a little bit easier. Underneath the sink, there's also some more storage here. There is a dust broom for you to use. If there's any waters in here, feel free to use those. There's some koozies in the back here. There's some straws, just random things throughout the trailer. Feel free to enjoy them and use them as if it were your own. The next big storage area, next to the microwave stove area, you'll find a brand new coffee pot. We do have filters for it as well. Behind this, there's 100 of these bags in here. Everybody leaves them. My wife loves them. There's a couple of cups in here as well that you can use. There's a tiny crock pot in the back there. A nice big area for you to keep the things that you're packing with you. And then again at the bottom, this is your cleaning supplies. And you can, if any of those are missing, or feel free to bring whatever you want to clean up with. Now on the back of the bathroom door is this shoe rack, and we found this to be pretty ingenious for us. It is full of all kinds of random stuff. There's some off in here. It may or may not be there when you get it. Some paw wipes for your puppy. This is where you'll find some of these pencil lighters at. Wrinkle releaser if you're going somewhere nice for the evening. Just a random batch of stuff. You can put your shoes in the bottom here because there's not a lot of floor space in this guy, and if you leave them outside, something may cart it off. You can keep your toiletries in the back of this. It really helps organize that. Now back inside the restroom, here's your toilet paper holder. There is a dust buster vacuum cleaner. Feel free to use that. It's pretty self-explanatory. We use it, especially if we're at the beach. It gets all the sand up really easy. When you stand up, if you're over 6 foot tall, you're gonna have to stoop a little bit. Here's your shower head. You can also, it is a tub shower combo for the little ones. You can throw those guys in there. And there's the little stopper over there. Yeah. So that's the travel trailer. I don't think I left anything off. If I did and you have questions even after you've rented it, you've got my cell phone number. Feel free to give me a call, and I'll help you work through anything you need. So enjoy your trip, and I hope you have a good camping experience with us. Alright, I left something off. So I'm going to show you, here's your levels right here. Is your gray level tank. It's empty. Black water tank. It's showing it's got a third full, but this doesn't work all the time really well. Fresh water tank is empty, and here's your battery level. And down here is your water pump, and I'm going to go out real quick and show you where, if you're going to be dry camping and you're bringing fresh water with you, I'll show you where it goes in at. So here's the outside again. Remember, this is where you're going to hook up your water line to your campsite. But if you're going to be bringing fresh water, you're going to unscrew this nozzle right here, and you're going to put your fresh water in through this. And you can see there's no way for a hose to connect to it, so you just have to put your fresh water in there however you can. Once you get that in there, on the inside, I'll show you the red button to activate the pump. And whenever the pump is active, that's how you flush your toilet. You get water from the sink. So it's this red button right here that activates the pump on the bottom there, and you can see it come on. And whenever you turn that pump on, it could charge the system and pull the water out of the tank that you just put water in. Alright, so one of the things that I did not show you is the awning. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to get this thing unclipped and extended. So one of the first things you're going to need to do is get this pole out of the front cubby, and whenever you go into the cubby, it's usually stored just inside here on the lip. So if it looks like it's not there, just feel down here and you'll see. Next, on either side of the awning, you're going to see these two clips. You're going to push those, and they just push in, and make sure that you've got that unclipped, and be sure and do them on this side as well. And you can see they just push in, and your awning is pretty close to wanting to come down now. So the next piece is you take the round part of your pole here, and you're going to want to try to grab this piece right here, and you're going to pull it down. And what this does is this is in the pull down position, so now you can open the awning. Now before you pull the awning out, you're going to want to make sure that everybody inside knows that you're going to be pulling the awning out, and go ahead and close this door. And just to recap, we got these pins pushed in on both sides, so they're now disconnected, and we use the round end and we put that to the pull down section. So once that's done, one of the things I like to do is just grab the awning and kind of pull it out and see how you can get it a little loose on both sides. Alright, go ahead and grab this pole and take this pin, and on the awning you'll see this tab, and just start pulling it out. You'll just pull this until it's all the way out, and then you're ready to go. I'll show you the side braces now. So you'll take these side braces at this point, and you'll take it and you'll snap it into position here. Alright, so once you've got the arms extended out, one thing to note, when you put the travel trailer up, do not tighten these all the way up, and also make sure that the strap is kept in a single line whenever you do roll it up, so that the tab hangs out at the bottom and you don't roll it up in there. And try not to pull on it really hard, because it makes it to where you can break it whenever you get this out. So the next step you're going to want to do is you come over here to this handle, and you're going to pull it, and you're going to pull up on this, and you'll see that there's graduated holes on the side of it, and just let it slide into one of these holes on the little tab that's right here, and do that for the opposite side as well. And this is what it looks like when you have the awning extended on the travel trailer. And also you'll note on the inside here there are some little clips. You can slide these back and forth. That's what you'll use to hang the Christmas lights on underneath the awning, and you can plug them into these two outlets on the outside of the travel trailer whenever you're ready. So to put the awning back down, you'll just grab the handle and pull up on it. Let this come down and come to rest right there, and do the same on the opposite side. And it's important to do that before you try to release these pins. So push this pin down, make sure again that these are not locked, and pull this back. Do the same on this side here, and push it down, and now you're ready to wind it back up. So what you do is put this black strap down and step on it, and push this into the roll up position, and you'll notice that it'll catch. Grab the cord, and once you have the strap in your hand, just let it roll up nice and smooth, and keep it straight on the edge. Then be sure and grab this piece right here, squeeze it together until you see it snap into place right here on both sides. And check the other side as well. And your awning is stowed and ready for. So the last thing to go over is if you've requested to use the sway control, if you're using a smaller truck, or you're worried about this thing swaying on you, you can borrow it. For full-size trucks, it's not really an issue, but it's equipped with a 2-inch ball. Be sure and bring a pin to lock this into your receiver. You use a standard Class 3 hitch receiver. This is your brake right here. You take the brake and you slide it into that ball there, and this ball on the back by the trailer. Once you have these set in place, there's a couple of pins. You take these pins and you slide them in at an angle on the side over here. There's one for the front, and there's one for the back as well. And you just take this and you feed them down on here, and you can see the brake is now installed. And this is how you turn it on. You loosen it by pulling up on this, right? And you tighten it by pushing down on this. When you're using it, this is a brake. You do not grease this, right? It's got some cautions and other things on the side of it. You don't lube the bar at all. It's a mechanical brake, and what it does is when you're pulling it, it keeps it to where it stays nice and straight and it doesn't want to fishtail on you. If you grease this or lubricate it in any way, it won't work. You'll notice it may chatter, may get some pops as you're pulling it. It's pretty typical of the assembly. And lastly, you want to make sure and you hook up your chains on both sides. The one that's on the passenger side actually has woven into it this strap right here. This strap actually connects back to an automatic brake right here, and if this pin comes out, it'll lock the electric brakes on the back of the trailer and it's going to stop it. So make sure that pin's in whenever you're trying to tow it. And this truck is equipped with a 7-blade trailer connector, and that'll connect onto the back of your connection on your truck itself. It is keyed, so make sure that you get this lined with however it needs to be. On this one, it's a top dead center, and you slide it in, and it's in. Be sure and check your lights, and that's what the completed assembly should look like. So that is the Jayco 165 RB. I think we've covered everything from setup all the way into connection onto the vehicle that you're going to tow it with. And make sure that you do raise the mount up here all the way. There will be a block, this block here, as a matter of fact, that'll come with it. It's my favorite wooden block, but I'm not going to let you borrow it. And just be sure and use that underneath the bottom of it. If you set this into the dirt, it's just a pole. It could push down into it and it'll become unstable whenever you're trying to set up your travel trailer. One last thing to mention, if you are using the sway control, you can't back up with this connected. It could result in damage to the sway control. So be sure and pull these pins off whenever you get to site. You're ready to back it in. You just pull the pins out of either side of it, and you just remove it off of the hitch, and now you're able to back the truck up and the trailer and put it in a position wherever you're backing it in at your campsite. Something else to note on here is that the trailer does weigh 2,700 pounds. It has roughly a 300-pound hitch weight. You can pull it with a smaller vehicle, a tow vehicle that's like an SUV. I've seen some pretty small vehicles pulling these things around. So if you are pulling it with a small vehicle, you definitely need to use the sway control, and definitely always check your tires. Try to keep 32 psi in each one of these, and as well on the back, make sure that you've got the adequate pressure in your spare in case you need to use it. And because the trailer is so light, it just uses the standard jack that's in your vehicle to raise it up and change one of these off. And it has standard size lug nuts. Be sure and check and make sure that your spanner will fit on that, and you can take the tires off if you need to change it while you're going on the road.